Hey, good evening. It's Thursday, December 14th, and welcome back to Everyday Talk 24/7. This evening, we're going to end Luke chapter 1. We've come to the end of Luke's laying the groundwork here for what's about to happen with the birth of Christ. And as Dale Ralph Davis comments here, he labels this section, he calls it, "We've come right to the edge of Christmas." But this Christmas, this Advent that the Bible talks about, is much different than the kind of holiday spirit that we have about. This is the moment that all of human history is hanging on. That's what makes it so beautiful. So as Luke ends this first chapter, he's talking about the birth of John the Baptist, and he's quoting the words of Zachariah, who has now been able to speak for the first time since the temple when he was silenced. Now he's speaking and prophesying about his son. And I want to pick up the end of the narrative. He says some things before that. But beginning in verse 76 and reading through to the end of verse 80, this is what Zachariah says about his child. "And you, my child, will be called a prophet of the Most High, for you will go before the Lord to prepare the way for him, to give his people the knowledge of salvation through the forgiveness of their sins, because of the tender mercy of our God, by which the rising sun will come to us from heaven, to shine on those living in darkness, in the shadow of the death, to guide our feet into the path of peace." What an amazing mission for John the Baptist, John the Baptizer, John. To shine on those living in darkness and in the shadow of death, to guide our feet into the path of peace. And then Luke comments, "And the child grew and became strong in spirit, and he lived in the desert until he appeared publicly to Israel." And we read about John in Isaiah chapter 40, verses 3 through 5. Isaiah says this, "A voice of one calling in the desert to prepare the way for the Lord. Make straight in the wilderness a highway for our God. Every valley shall be raised up, every mountain and hill made low. The rough ground shall become level, and the rugged places a plain. And the glory of God will be revealed, and all mankind together will see it, for the mouth of the Lord has spoken it." This voice of one crawling in the wilderness, this was John's mission. These two little boys, John and then Jesus, on whom the hope of all humanity rests. Neither one of them make it past their early 30s. They both are dead by the time they're 33. John, maybe a little bit before, he's beheaded by Herod, and Jesus is crucified. So all this hope placed on these two boys, they don't even make it to the 30s because they were about what was important. John will go before the Lord to prepare the way for him, to give his people the knowledge of salvation through the forgiveness of their sins, because of the tender mercy of our God, by which the rising sun will come to us from heaven, to shine on those living in darkness and in the shadow of death, to guide our feet into the path of peace. That's what John did. He prepared the way. And Jesus brought this light of God into the world. You see the brilliance of the sunset behind me. doesn't even compare to the glorious God, the light that is shining into darkness. This is what Christmas is all about. The thumbnail tonight is kind of fuzzy on purpose. You kind of see a Christmas tree in the background. But let's not focus on that. Let's focus on the light that's about here, that's about forgiveness of sins, about the tender mercies of God, so that we are not treated as our sins deserve. We're right on the edge of Christmas. Let's not fall off the edge that lets our society now dictate Christmas for us. Let these words of Zachariah, speaking as a prophet, prophesying about what his son would do and what about Jesus would do. These two young men focus on the things of God, and this world would have neither one of them. John's voice was faithful and true. He was calling out in the desert, but he called out truth, and it brought the wrath of the king to the point where he was lost his head, literally. Jesus lived the perfect, sinless life, bringing honor to God and honor to people. And the response? We need to kill him. We have no king but Caesar. But through their deaths, they represented the true wonder of Christmas, the true wonder of the Advent. Let's be consumed by that. Let's let this wonder of forgiveness of sins, of peace with God, of the tender mercies of God, shining light into our lost way. Because there is no other hope but that. This is our peace, our hope, our joy. Right on the edge of Christmas. Let's let that be right on the edge of what Luke is telling us about, where we know the light of the tender mercies of God. What a beautiful thought. Q&A Friday tomorrow. Again, love your thoughts and questions. You already have some. If you have some more, send them in. I'm going to close tonight, letting you have a view of the sunset behind me. I'm taking the focus, to take the exposure off of me, and there it is behind me. What a glorious, beautiful scene. The tender mercies of God, shining light in the darkness, and bringing hope to all of us. You have a great evening, and Lord willing, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching. May God richly bless you as you seek to live for His glory.